Well, good evening. I know you're probably saying you sure are bugging us here on a Saturday, but um, I was going over my sermon for tomorrow, and because that's what I do. The sermon has been done, but I go over it just to make sure that I have the context and everything in my head properly. Just want to make sure I got it all together, and that's what I was doing. And then I was watching Cincinnati annihilate SMU as Ohio State obliterated Michigan State. I was looking at all of that. I was minding my own business. I wasn't bothering anybody. Erica, we meet again. And the next thing you know, the Lord just dropped something in my spirit, Nancy, and it was absolutely amazing what he did. As you well know, Thea, we have Thanksgiving coming. Now, maybe, hey Sandra, how are you? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overly sensitive to what's happening. Oh, good. I now see that people who are on my page can now talk to me. Oh, bless his name. And so as I looked at that, I went to move my car so that, hey, Sharon, Lisa, in the morning I'll drive, the car to the church. Tammy, how are you this evening? And I looked down the street, and to my amazement, um, people have their Christmas decorations up already. Good evening, Cora. How are you? Ethel, I see you as you're coming on board. Good evening, Herma. How are you? And I said, has have these moments. How are you, Sheila? I see you on YouTube. Have these moments become so commercialized that we no longer care anything about a moment where we should be thankful? I understand. I understand what Thanksgiving means and the importance of it. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, Sylvia Scott, how are you? What I am saying, and the thing that just mesmerizes me more than anything else, is Christmas decorations have been up for in places. Good evening, Elder. How are you for a month? And here's a moment where we stop, we reflect, we examine, we do inventory as to all of the things that God has done for us, how God has blessed us, Cora, how God has, and don't get me wrong, I'm gonna put my stuff up. I'm gonna put my Leroy. How are you? I'm gonna put my stuff up. How are you, Isaiah? Good to see you, my friend. I'm gonna put my stuff up when the time comes, but I need us to realize that we have much to be thankful for. I reflect back over my life and several brushes with death that I've dealt with, and how God yet still provides even when I know he shouldn't. Jemison, how are you, sir? Good to see you, my friend. And when I think about that and I look at that, are we really thankful? Have we become such a society that the only thing we do is complain and gripe? Have we become so immersed in mess and foolishness and craziness that we no longer do what our parents and grandparents did who had less than we did? My mother and father never lived in a home like this. They never drove cars like what we drive. They've never lived in neighborhoods where I wish I had some real people out here that could understand where I'm coming from with this. Our parents' home was small, but we thought it was great. And our neighbors were poor, but we didn't know it because we were happy. And we're to the point now that all we do is clamor for more, complain about everything, not satisfied with one thing. So I think the Lord is just, no, I don't think the Lord. I know the Lord has impressed into my spirit, Gladys, the importance of raising or heightening thankfulness in the body of Christ. Now, listen, I might not live in a lavish home, I may not drive a fancy car, but I'm still alive and well. My health may not be perfect, but I'm not in ICU. I'm not in the hospital. I'm not in a nursing facility. I'm not in rehab. I wish I had a couple of people that are catching where I'm coming from. Because life can bring in a second tragedy. Life, you can be driving down the road and minding your own business, and somebody can T-bone you, somebody can rear end you, somebody can do. I say this all the time, Jaleesa, that many people don't understand how many people with guns and now assault rifles can be riding up and down your street. And the only reason they didn't target your home is because God would not allow them to do. Oh, I wish. I just, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to God that, as I get older, I'm still mobile. I don't need anyone to help me yet. Will that day come? I have no clue. I'm still able on those moments to have a few bougie moments where I can take myself and Lady Harrison out someplace. Sister Rains, how are you? And spend a little money on her and enjoy ourselves. We can get on a plane and go someplace. Ayana, you don't understand how far God has brought us. I remember, and I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm not going to keep you much longer. I remember when our priority was our children. And I remember how we would sacrifice the things we wanted to make sure that our children had what they needed. There were things we wanted to do, and clothes we wanted to buy, and shoes we wanted to buy, and different things we wanted to buy, but we had children that had needs, and so we made all of those sacrifices to make sure that they had that. It might not have been the best, but it was the best we could provide. I want us to quit complaining so much and start blessing the Lord. We've already gone into the season of Christmas where we're trying to find the perfect gift. We're trying to spend money we don't have. We're trying to do all of those things, and yet still there are people who are homeless. There are people who are hungry. There are people who are living in tents and under bridges and in shelters, and you're not one of them. I wish I had somebody that caught what I said. You're not one of them. Your refrigerator might not be full, but it's got enough in there to keep you for the next couple of days. Let's just focus on being thankful. Yeah, I got people that get on my nerves. Yeah, I got situations going on that drive me insane, Gina. Yes, that's called life. It's called life. Nowhere in the word of the Lord does it say life is going to be perfect. But he also says, be of good cheer because I have overcome the world. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say. I'm getting ready to go back upstairs and cut the TV on in my office. I'm going to get my little pillow and I'm going to lay on the floor because that's as old as I am. I still love to lay on the floor. You don't understand. Okay. You don't understand that I remember when I had my surgery and I couldn't pick up anything. As a matter of fact, I had to be assisted in everything I did. And now I remember when I could not go to the store and pick up a gallon of milk because of the level of surgery that I had. I remember the tubes that were stuck inside of me when my lung collapsed. I have three chest tubes inside of me. I remember those days when I thought I was dying, and I looked at my doctor and I told him, I said, you got to pull this tube out of my nose because literally, I was basically choking to death, and God brought me through. And my doctor said to me, and I love my doctor because he's one of the best that there is. Um, he said, if I pull this tube, I'm gonna have to put it back in. I said, I'm not even worried about it. Just pull the tube. When he pulled the tube, I started breathing again. Life for me has not come without pain and disappointment since I was a child. Since I was a child. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my children. They're not perfect, but I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my grandchildren. They're not perfect, but I'm grateful for my grandchildren. I'm grateful for my great grandchildren. They're not perfect, but I'm grateful because a few years ago, twice, I never thought that I would be here, but I'm here. And that's all I wanted to share with you as we go into the Thanksgiving season. I ain't talking about no pilgrims and Indians and turkeys and all of that kind of stuff. Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we do. But in the midst of that, can we just take a moment starting now and just tell the Lord how grateful you are for where you are? You may not be where you want to be, but you are not where you could be. You could be in ICU and unconscious. You could be enamored by COVID and they don't know whether you're going to live or die on a respirator. Tell the Lord, if you don't mind, that you are so grateful and thankful for all. Yeah, in the midst of tragedy, thank you. In the midst of pain and heartache, thank you. In the midst of misunderstandings, thank you. In the midst of cataclysmic events that are beyond my control. And when I think about them, they bring tears to my eyes, but thank you. Wayne, Leroy, tell him thank you. The one thing that drives me crazy is to do something for somebody and they take it and walk away like you owe it to them. But when God, Wayne, blesses you, and Wayne, just like the rest of us, we bear those scars. And I'm gonna tell. I said I was getting off here. I'm gonna tell this. When my colon ruptured, and I have an incision that's probably, it was over a foot and a half long. It's a horrible experience, but it was my fault. And every time I walked past that mirror, I despised myself. I hated what I saw. I hated what it looked like because it reminded me of my own ignorance. Because if I had did what the doctor asked me to do, this would have never happened. And the Lord dropped this in my spirit that changed me forever. He impressed upon me, he said, "You remember the cross that I went to?" He said, "For eternity, I will bear the scars in my hand, in my side, and in my feet. And I am not ashamed of what I did." And I said, every time I walk past that mirror now, thank you. Because those scars, when I had the scars, when they went into my lung, I couldn't even preach my mother's eulogy. I was so sick. And they pulled the fluid out of my lung, and he said they had to scrape it out because it was like sludge, but there was no cancer. And I bore that scar, and now you can't even tell that this happened. All I'm saying is scars are reminders of the greatness of God. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. Listen. I want you to rest well. I want you to rest well. LaShawn, I want you to rest well. And then I want you, whether if this is your week to come to the building, come on and let's worship God. If it's not your week, get online and let's bless the Lord together as we enter into this season of Thanksgiving. Man, if you only knew, and ladies, if you only knew the love I have for y'all. I'm just grateful. You be blessed. Have a blessed evening. Rest well. If Union is not your church, make your way to somebody's house of worship, whether it is physical or whether it is virtual. And go on and lift your hand and tell God thank you, because it's still well with your soul. May God bless you. May he keep you, is our